A woman burned alive, just 1,200 meters from Europe's largest nuclear plant. As IAEA watches explosions from inside Europe's largest nuclear plant, Russia unleashes its deadliest drone barrage yet, over 6,000 in a month. And in Donetsk, total infiltration tactics push Ukraine's defenses to the brink. The front is shifting, again, and it's getting closer to catastrophe. A civilian woman was burned alive after an alleged Ukrainian drone and artillery strike ignited a fire near the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Russian-occupied southern Ukraine. According to plant officials and regional authorities in Energodar, the attack, which occurred on August 2nd, targeted an auxiliary industrial site located just 1,200 meters from the perimeter of the nuclear facility. Plant operators confirmed via telegram that the strike caused a civilian vehicle to catch fire. The victim, they said, was not affiliated with the plant's operations. Though the facility's reactors were reportedly unaffected, the International Atomic Energy Agency noted that its monitoring team on site witnessed explosions and sustained smoke from the strike area throughout the day. The IAEA has maintained a continuous presence at the plant since shortly after Russian forces took control in March 2022. IAEA Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi reiterated concerns about ongoing hostilities near the site, stating that any attack near a nuclear power plant, regardless of the intended target, poses potential risks to nuclear safety and must be avoided.
Any attack in the vicinity of a nuclear power plant, regardless of the intended target, poses potential risks also for nuclear safety and must be avoided. Once again, I call for maximum military restraint near nuclear facilities to prevent the continued risk of a nuclear accident.
Earlier in May, a Greenpeace report suggested that Russia was laying new power lines along the Sea of Azov, potentially connecting the Zaporizhzhia facility to its domestic energy grid. Satellite imagery indicated that over 80 kilometers of high-voltage lines have been constructed since February, linking occupied cities such as Melitopol and Donetsk. According to data reported by AFP and the Kyiv Independent, Russia launched 6,297 drones on Ukraine in July, the highest number in a single month since the war began in 2022. The figures reflect a 16% rise from June, as Russia intensified its use of long-range unmanned systems. The Kyiv Independent reported that of the total 6,129 were Shaheds-type drones imported from Iran. That's a 14-fold increase compared to July last year. Russia launched just 423 drones. However, Ukrainian officials say the real number may be higher as reporting relies on estimates. On July 9th alone, Russian forces launched a record 741 drones and decoys overnight, killing at least 8 people across the Sumy, Donetsk and Kherson regions. Ukrainian air defenses intercepted most, but not all, of the barrage. The escalation coincided with renewed US pledges of support. President Donald Trump announced that European allies would help finance Patriot air defense systems for Ukraine as part of a broader push to bolster its defense capacity amid rising attacks. Russia's assault culminated on July 31st with a strike on Kyiv that killed 31 people, including 5 children, and wounded 159 others. President Volodymyr Zelensky said over 300 drones and 8 missiles were used in the attack. Moscow's drone strategy has evolved, with drones now flying at higher altitudes and often deployed alongside missiles to overwhelm air defenses. Many carry explosives, while others serve as decoys or for reconnaissance. With peace talks in Turkey yielding little progress, both sides continue to rely on drones, a growing feature of the conflict's next phase. In eastern Ukraine, the town of Pokrovsk in Donetsk Oblast remains a focal point of Russia's ongoing offensive. According to Ukraine's Commander-in-Chief, Oleksandr Syrsky, the area continues to face some of the most intense fighting on the front line. Syrsky reported on August 2nd that Russian forces are deploying what he described as total infiltration tactics, increasing sabotage activity in Ukrainian rear areas while probing for weaknesses across several directions.
Pokrovsk remains the most difficult situation in Donetsk Oblast, along with the towns of Dobropilya and Novopavlivka. The enemy is stepping up its efforts to capture our key agglomerations, looking for vulnerabilities in our defense, and conducting active combat operations in several directions simultaneously. At the same time, the Russians are resorting to a tactic of total infiltration, with an increase in sabotage activities in our rear.
Despite the pressure, Ukrainian forces have so far repelled these attempts. Anti-sabotage units have been mobilized, and defensive infrastructure, including anti-drone tunnels and physical barriers, is being reinforced. Alongside Pokrovsk, the towns of Dobropilya and Novopavlivka are also experiencing rising military activity. Recent reports indicate that Russia has concentrated over 111,000 troops in the region, aiming to push further into Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. Meanwhile, across the border, a drone strike in Russia's Black Sea resort city of Sochi on August 3rd triggered a major fire at a fuel depot. Local officials say the blaze engulfed a large storage tank in the Adler district. More than 120 firefighters were dispatched, and flights at Sochi airport were temporarily suspended. While Kyiv has not commented, the strike is consistent with Ukraine's pattern of targeting Russian energy infrastructure. In occupied Melitopol, Ukraine's military intelligence agency reported a joint operation with local partisans that resulted in the deaths of 5 soldiers from the Russian-backed Akhmat unit. The blast also damaged a nearby electronic warfare system. Ukraine's intelligence operations within occupied territories have become more frequent, targeting key Russian assets and personnel as part of a broader effort to weaken Moscow's military footprint. The situation across both fronts remains fluid, with no signs of de-escalation.